All right, awesome. Happy Saturday, you guys. First Saturday, December, right? Because last Saturday was November. It's first Saturday, December. Okay, you guys, going into 2025, I'm Jordan. For those of you that don't know me, if you're watching the recording, my team is on here and they know me. But I'm going to tell a little bit my story. But what you should know about me is I talk fast. You have to listen fast. Also, the second thing that you should know about me is that I am an extremely an emotional individual, and so I need like practical tips. I need like logic to like bring me down. And I'm also going to give you a few tips on like how to use your emotions for yourself in order to finish this year strong and not be focusing on 2025 yet. Because honestly, a lot of times the beginning of the month, especially around the 8th, 9th, 10th, you have set these massive, massive, massive goals. And I'm sure that you set massive goals, but then you're looking at your numbers and you're like, logic says I can't hit this goal. Right. And then you sit there and you usually let your feelings dictate your activity. And in this business, you will actually literally hear this with college coach tough love. You will never, ever be successful in this business if your feelings dictate your activity. So you have to decide on how to be consistent, and we kind of go through there. So just a little short snip about my story. I was a college coach for 10 years. I was a college athlete, professional athlete. And then I just like did the tasks that everyone said, right? If you want to be a student, do this. I did it, right? If you want to be a successful volleyball player, you do it. And then I just find I was always doing things in order to make other people feel really good and like in order to get approval. And I just didn't like actually know myself. And so it's fun, like figuring out in my 30s, what does figuring out who I am, what do I love, what do I do? But a year ago in December, actually, like a full year ago, I normally share, and I'll share on this call, normally share that I retired from college coaching, which is true because I chose not to get another job, but I was actually wrongfully fired for my leadership, if you will. Basically, I was an assistant coach at a university after I was a head coach for 10 years, became an assistant, and I was wrongfully fired. Basically, found all of these things that weren't actually reasons to fire someone. But the real problem was that he wanted me to shut up and sit down and be cute. And I'm just not that person. And so what I found was like, I'm so glad I started my Arbonne business before impact had hit. I'm so glad I built my business and built my belief before it was the time to make a decision. And so last December, I decided like I don't want to get another college job. I have like actively resigned and I want to like bet on myself. And so I'm going to show you a couple of things in consistency on the difference in my business, that doing my thrive every single day and focusing on long-term goals instead of immediate goals made a big change. And so we're going to talk, actually going to do like one of each of the thrives today. So if you don't have the thrive notebook, order it on Amazon and do not start in January. Like go ahead and just start now. Do your last like if you have 10 pages left in December when you get it, like just do the last 10, because I'm someone like I want it to be fresh, I want it to be cute, right? And so like I still have pages left in mine, but if you haven't gotten your Thrive book, like order it on Amazon. It literally will change your life because it will show you your consistency. And this is the book that actually changed my business. Cassie and I created this, and she published it on Amazon. So, but the like, why do we even do the Thrive? Like the point of the Thrive is that especially when you're building on social media or you're building, most of us are, what other people see should only be like 10% of what you do. And if your business isn't growing the way that you want it to, and I'm preaching to myself, it's because what you're putting out on social media is 90% of what your business is. So posting reels, posting stories, those should only be like 10% of what you're doing. And if you're relying on the what people see to build your business is not going to grow very quickly. And so much of this business is behind the scenes, which is why it's so valuable and actually like so personal growing, because no one will see what you're doing. It's like you get to see, are you the person who does the things in the dark? Like, are you the person that does the things behind the scenes? Are you the person that keeps your word to yourself? Are you a person that does the small things, right? This current mantra I have is like, how you do small things is how you do all things, right? And so really like, even in my Pilates, and she's counting them for 10 and she's doing her Pilates seconds because she's like 10, 9, 8, not yet, 6, hold your breath, 7. Like that's like, it's not real counting. It's like, this is 20 seconds. I found myself quitting at 2, 3 seconds left because I'm just ready to move to the next thing. But as soon as I started doing the last 3, 2, 1 seconds, it made a huge difference. So when you're doing your Thrive, a lot of times like we'll do our 10 minutes. If you're just going through your 10 minutes and you're only like doing 9 minutes, or like literally the small things matter. And so just focusing on being the person that does the small things behind the dark. Like 90% of your business people won't see. And so I just had to self-check myself a year ago of, is 90% of my business what people can see, or is 90% behind the scenes? And anytime I feel dissatisfied, it is because I end up relying on what people can see. If you come anywhere you mute, you can help you guys. Let me see if I can mute them all. Beautiful. Okay. So I want to share a little bit on my numbers and my journey. I've been in the business for 3 years. I'm current area manager, like moving into region qual, and I've been an area manager 3 times. And the main difference is this book. Okay. I just had my largest check in Arbonne, like literally brought me to tears. I was like, how is this life a thing? But I 100% am talking to it like with consistency. And so in November of 21, so I started in May of 21, we did 8K. And the majority of my business is like, I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid to be good at sales. No stress. I'm so glad you guys are here. I'm not afraid of hard work. I'm not afraid of sales. I'm not afraid of doing that. But I spent the majority of my business double dutching is what I would call it. I would go in, and when my numbers were high, I was excited and life was great. And then I would go out whenever my numbers didn't match. And we talked earlier on the call that like the 8th through the 12th of the month is like this crucial piece of where you build your belief, because like momentum happens near the end of the month and activity happens in the dark. And so what happens is at the beginning of the month, you set these crazy goals. And then the first week you like have hope. And then 8, 9, 10, 12, logic says that your numbers can't be hit. And logic says that you can't reach your goals. And so it's so crucial to make sure in this point in the month that you're building your belief and focusing on the work behind the dark. And so November of 21, I had 8K. In May of 22, I had 3,500. So I was like 8,000, 3,000, 8,000, 3,000, consistently hitting my bonus or not bonus. And this is pretty much all of me. This is just like anytime I was in activity, we'd be high. Anytime I wasn't activity, because honestly, I was not talking about the business. So that's another thing, is that one thing that changed in my business is like on your stories, like stop talking about the product so much. Right? Like make the products a default. It's like talk about the business, talk about the business. On your stories, you should be talking about profit or business, your products, and something personal every single day. And I can guarantee you, if your business isn't growing the way you want it to, and I'm just assuming that it isn't growing the way you want it to because we just have goals. Like we're in massive momentum for one of the first times in my business. I'm feeling so excited about it. But like the thing that changed for me was when you start talking about the business, like talk about the business and people like get interested. They see what you're doing. They see that you're proud of it. You know, like if you were working for Dell, you would be like, oh my gosh, at Dell yesterday, homegirl Sarah, she was crazy. And I just realized also, like in my family, I'm telling them stories about, I teach Pilates and coach volleyball. And I'm like telling them stories about them people, but I'm not telling them about my business. And there's just like this disconnect sometimes when you start a network marketing business. Like tell your family about your friend Jordan that was on a call today, and like tell about Kenzie and tell about Cassie. Like tell people stories about people in your business. Like make it real. Something Ashley Stanfield does so good is she talks about how people got there. And so like Cassandra, right? So just like helping people see it's relatable. I reached out to a friend who did the 30 days healthy living. We got on a call. She did the living. She felt amazing. She was telling everybody she knew, but she really didn't do the business. Cassandra and I got on a call. Cassandra was excited, but decided it wasn't enough for her finances at the time. And then I consistently connected with her on the Thrive piece. We'll talk about that for like 6 to 8 months. And then at 8 months, I had done some new sales training because I was like, I have to level up and I have to make sacrifices. So I started doing some new sales training and I was like, wow, this girl needs to hear this. So then we got on the phone and we did the things. Okay. And so like the difference is that I consistently followed up with her. So November of 21, 8K, May of 22, 3.5. And then in September, I made, you're one ask away from a different business. There was an influencer friend of mine who, like I met on Instagram and I was like, you would be great at this. So we popped on a call. She said yes, like super easy. And she did 18,000. So in November of 22, we did 23,000. But I want to warn you that a lot of times we think we want a big business, but we're not actually ready for the leadership and like the light it shines on inside of us. And I actually had a super, super, super humbling moment because all my comparison and my insecurities revved up. This girl came in, posted a couple of links, and did 25,000. And I'm like, all of my insecurities were like, I've been doing this forever. Like, I can't believe this is so easy for her. I can't believe it. Instead of thinking, like, we all have gifts. And I saw her numbers as her worth and my numbers as my worth. And so I thought, like, there's no way I can lead her because of this. And the thing is that energy, I believe, caused her to quit. Now she's back in the business because my leadership has grown, which is amazing. And that's how I met Janelle. So Janelle is about to be a district manager on my team for the second time. And she has 2 generations underneath her. I've never met Janelle in person. I can't wait to her to come to Austin. But she did 23,000. But then I stopped being consistent in my personal activity and I let my feelings of comparison and lack and not being enough get in the way of my activity. And so in May of 23, I did 4,000. And November of 23, which is 2 years ago, I did 8K by myself, right? Which is great. That's cool. You almost do area call by yourself. That's incredible. Okay. And then in January of 24, so last year in December, I was like, I've got to make a change. I resigned from college coaching and I like literally bet on myself. And so what I decided was like Cassie and I created this Thrive book. And I said, like, I'm going to do this for 90 days. And I'm just like not going to look up. I'm not going to look at the numbers. I'm not going to look at the activity. Because what the thing is like, I want long-term goals. And I don't know about you guys, but like, I feel like sometimes we focus on like, I need money right now, or I need this consultant right now. But like, if you are consistent for 6 months and that could lead to $3,000 a month, like, would you do it? Like if you would just like not look and do it. And I will tell you it will, because I am a product of that. Because I was making between $500 to $1,000 or $1,200 a month. And then in January, I did a consistent 10K from January until June. And then in July, I hit district manager and we've done 15K after that consistently. So I went from doing 23, 4, 8, 20, 4, 8, 20 to doing 10K consistently and 15 last month. And I'm doing it actually because it's not me. We have literally 8 new team members on our team, but it's because of in June, 10K, July, 10K, August, 11K, May, 8. Like that consistent time, I was doing the Thrive and making ask and pouring into my team. And so I just want to challenge you that like, if you're not doing your Thrive, like go get it, because it's not about the numbers. Okay. It's not about the numbers. It's like, this is a compound effect. And one of my favorite books has a story about a sower, and the planter goes and he plants all these seeds in the ground, and his job is to do the planting. And then some of the soil makes it grow, right? Some of the soil is fresh soil. It's good soil. It's ready, and the plants grow. And that's exciting, right? Because he's like, oh, I did my job. And then some of the soil is hard. And so the plants don't grow. Right. And then some of the soil is really good soil, but when it grows, there's weeds and thorns that choke out the plant. And so that's kind of how your business will work, is 30% of people you talk to about the business will think, man, this is cool. And it might grow if you pour into them. 30% are going to think like you're the stupidest person ever for doing network marketing because they have no idea what they're saying no to. And then 30% of people will get excited, start, and then they won't have the diligence to stay consistent when the numbers don't match. And so a lot of times, like, it's how can my leadership change in those different individual times? And so I just want to challenge you and encourage you that if you're in a time and space where you're like, I'm planting all these seeds and I don't see anything freaking growing, keep planting. Like, keep planting, because for me, I'm like, it's not up to me. Like, God's timing and people's hearts and their lifestyle. Like, you have no idea when people are ready to make a change and make a shift. You have no idea when impact hits. And so I just want to encourage you to like, keep planting. Okay. Because what happens is the reason our businesses go up and down and up and down, because I'm the poster child for that, is that when our numbers are good, we plant, 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 plant. And then when numbers are bad, we have an existential crisis. Like I have a monthly one. Like I'm the worst person ever. What are we doing? Like what's going on? Right? And I'm like literally like I'll never achieve anything and I'm fat and my hair is ugly and like, whatever. And it's like we deep dive spiral just because like five people say no in a row. Okay. It's like, or like someone quits or someone got excited and their husband said no or whatever. But it's like if you can be in a season where your numbers are not reflecting your work, like you will be a badass. And so like anytime your numbers are not reflecting your work, I want you to be like, this is like, I'm an athlete, so I'm getting emotional because I'm like, I feel like this is pregame, right? I feel like this is like pregame national championship before the end of the year. Like the people who are lazy start in January. The people who are not made for success, they start in January. The people who are not committed say, "Oh, December's over. Oh, like the holidays. Oh, I won't build my business." Like your excuses and your reasons for doing this business can't be the same. Right? Like I see Janelle sitting there with sweet Zoe. Like she can't say like, "Oh, I'm too busy, my kids, my kids, my kids," and then say, "I want to spend some more time with my kids and then grow this business." Like your excuses can't be your reasons. Right. And I say that like I have a sleep disorder. And so I'm trying to get up in the morning. And like I can't be like, oh, I can't get up in the morning. I don't have enough time. And then like I'm not managing my sleep well. And so I just want to challenge you in that area. Also recognizing in the business that consistency compounds and this business is not addition. And I can like literally attest to that. We think that it's like, okay, so like qualifying in for Tulum. You think you look at 100K, I'm going for 175, and it's like, okay, 16 a month. That's not how it works. What happens is you do 10 a month, 10 a month, 10 a month, and then your business booms and you do 30. And then two other people on your team do 10 a month, 10 a month, 10 a month, and they do 30. And then all of a sudden you're in your region, right? Or if you are a region, then all of a sudden you're a nation qual and it compounds. And so what happens is 6 months of consistency starts now. It starts now. And what happens is you don't see results in December. You're like, oh, I'm not hitting 16K in January. I'm not hitting 16K in February. I'm not hitting 16K in March. And so because of that, you waste 120 days of activity, right? And so what happens then in April, you're like, oh, well, there's no way I can earn it. I'm like, well, you could earn it if you started in December. If you started in December. Um, you're always just like one person away from a massive ask. I also want to recognize that like there is a season of sacrifice if you're in promotion. If you are not in a place of where you're going for promotion, like you have to make a choice. And there have been seasons in my life where I'm like, I'm actually like healing from massive trauma. I was in an extremely abusive relationship and I tried to promote in the season of healing and I couldn't do it because I had not healed. And so I just want to challenge you that like there's nothing wrong with you if you're not ready to promote. So stay consistent in your work. But if you are ready to promote, you can't keep your same lifestyle. Like something has to sacrifice. You don't have to give up all your trash shows, but maybe you give up two of them and read. Right? You don't give up all your music in the car, but you do need to give up like 20 minutes a day, So there will be sacrifice in order to create success. And I just want to challenge you that like if you're trying to bargain with the price of success by not sacrificing, you're not going to get there. And I say this for my personal lifestyle is like I had to look like what habits aren't serving me and like where am I like where do I need to give up some things and where do I just say no in order to add like a little bit more of my business. Um and then I just want you guys to feel like two more things. I want you to feel confident in like God's platform for your life. It's like, again, kind of how 10% of your business should be on social media and 90% is on the back end. Literally, like 10% of like your control should feel you. And then 90% should feel like him. Like 90% should feel like, oh, I trust the way he's going to work. I trust how he's going to do these things. I trust how he's going to go before and after me. And if you try to hold on into a scarcity mindset that like it is all on me, your team will never grow. And like God has been telling me so heavily, I don't know who this is for, but like if you have a business you can control, he creates success for you. Like if you have a business that you can put your hands on and you can constantly be in every conversation and you can't delegate, he can't grow your business. And so right now I have second generation consultants for the first time in business. And like my anxiety freaked out because I'm like, I can do the presentation better than them, but that's not the point. The point is for them to grow. And so I just want to challenge you, like, make sure that you're ready to have a business you can take your hands off of. I also want to share 3 tips on the case on how to do your Thrive More like successfully. So connect is your first piece, right? Ask and then like engage and serve. And honestly, like engage, we probably all do that naturally. But I would challenge your engage to be lives or to like actively engage with people on your social media. On the connecting piece, I have a biz connections saved. So I am intentionally connecting with women that I want to do the business with, because then if they try products, they'd be amazing. So I just save their posts and I have a folder in Instagram, and that way I'm continually connecting with them. I also have this reminder of like my dream team list, and these are people I connect with. So those are ways to do connections. Um, and then on the ask piece, I have a girl I'm going to ask about the business. And basically, I'm just going to say, hey, I know that last time we talked about the business, we really didn't get a chance to get on the phone call. Here's what I see in you. I want to do this business with you. Are you open to a conversation? And so, like, that verbiage has literally been so good. It's like, here's what I'm doing. I want you to do this business with me. Are you open to a conversation? And that has been really, really great. I'm also following up and doing my serve by everyone who's filled out my wellness survey. We're going to the replenish me, because a lot of people are saying like finances, they're saying it's not, like, it's too expensive and all the things. I'm coming back and I'm going to say, oh my gosh, I found a deal for you to spend less than $115 and you can get 2 products and you're going to feel amazing. Do you want to hear about it? Right. And if they say no, no problem. I can't do it. Great. Move on. Right. They're so, like we talked on there, like their soil is not ready. Like you're constantly flipping cards in order to find the soil that's ready. And so if you send 20 messages out to people and you intentionally are like, I want you to do this business with me, this feels amazing. Like 7 of them are not going to reply. 7 of them are going to be curious, and 7 of them are going to be like, hell no. Like that's just the way it works. And so there's nothing wrong with you. You just have to know that those numbers. And so just recognize when you're ramping up for activity, you're going to get more yeses, but you're going to get more nos. And so a lot of times I see new consultants or can see consultants that in growing in promotion, they are focusing on like more activity. And that's such a good thing. But you have to have a mindset that's ready for that. And I just want to challenge you that like consistency is the only way to build your business. It is the only way to build your business. And right now, I'm not actually focused on my team. I am focused on like the person I want to be. How would she handle this situation? And so when I look at my team, when I look at the challenges, when I look at my anxiety, when I look at my panic attack, when I look at my ADHD is like freaking bouncing off the walls, I'm like, how would VP Jordan handle this? How would MVP handle this if Cecilia Stoll was in the room? And Cecilia Stoll actually challenged me, and it's the last thing I'll leave you with because I'm gonna go teach Pilates. I was at a retreat, and one, show up to the retreats. Okay, so I don't know what your retreats are. Like GTC, get your ticket. If you don't get your ticket, and I can say this because a lot of you aren't on my team, and if you're on my team and you're listening, like if you don't go to GTC, you're not serious. And you should be telling your team that. And I think sometimes we get away from tough love, and there are obviously extenuating circumstances, but like people want, like God disciplines us for a reason. Like people want structure and clarity. And it's actually more kind to tell them it's clarity. It's like, I love you regardless, but going to GTC is how you show yourself you're serious about your business. So get that ticket. We have an awesome retreat. So go to the retreat and show up. And I'm in a hallway with Cecilia Stoll and Cassie Smith and Kristen Walter. And Cassie and I are both in a season of like challenge and emotions in this season of life. And I asked Cecilia, I'm like, what, like, please just give me anything when you were in a season of struggle. And she says, if God was your boss, how would you show up? I was like, whoa. She's like, would you wear makeup to work? Would you put your clothes on? Right? How would your house look? Like, if God was your boss and he was going to handle the conversation for you in conflict, how would you go handle the conversation? How would you invite people into your business? Like, if they would come to work with the God of hosts, like, how would you do that? And so I don't know if you're a believer or what you're at, but I just want you to think about like the person that you love the most in the whole world. If they were your boss and you were inviting people into a business with them, like, how would you show up? How would you handle things? And it has drastically changed my business. And so I don't know if any of this lands for you. I'm just like a girl in her 30s who like her 20s were a tornado and a freaking train wreck. And she's just trying to figure her 30s out and just like doing it on social media and like full line. And so I just want like, thank you so much for your time. Secondly, I know that like Saturdays are kind of your day to like rest and rejuvenate and figure out the things with the kids. And I just want to show you that like showing up is 90% of the work, and then do the 90% of the work. Like be the person that does the things. right? Whatever the thing is for you, there's something on your heart that you're not doing. Like, be the person that does the things, okay? And that's all I have for you guys today. Have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. New consultant training, I believe, is going to be next week. And honestly, like, believe that you uniquely have a massive business coming to you. Like, individually, there's something in you that people need. And like, you have a massive, massive business coming to you literally because of who you are. You don't have to achieve it. You don't have to earn it. You have to learn it. You have to grow it. We do need to do those things, but like, who you are as a human is going to attract a massive business. And if no one else tells you today, I love you. That's it. Bye.